My name is Grace Templeton, and I'm a senior enrolled in Dr. Philus's Advanced Prose course this semester. When my peers and I were given the task of creating a polished piece of writing over the course of these last few months, I began to hear exceptional proposals of science fiction, personal narrative, and short story pieces that radiated imagination and creativity. After reflecting on my own journey into motherhood over this past year, I came to the brave decision to share my own story in memoir form through the lens of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. My spouse and I are lucky to have a beautiful, bright, precocious little girl who celebrated her first birthday yesterday. However, the emotions that motherhood has introduced are still far more complex than I could have ever imagined. Not each stage of the Kubler-Ross model arrived in perfect order, and there were even times I experienced them through the pain or struggle of someone else instead of myself. In a world that understands postpartum depression and the baby blues more than ever before, I still believe there rests a gray area in the feelings of uncertainty that come with the transformation of becoming a mother. For other new mothers, I hope to bring the sense of ubiquity to this concept that I so desperately longed for myself. And although I have come to a place of reflection, my journey is still far from over. Today, I will be sharing with you an excerpt from Stage 1, Denial. When I think of my first night as a mother, I oftentimes have to halt myself from cringing. My heart races as I recall the lonely recovery room, the dull 2 a.m. streetlights through my window, and my spouse curled up on a small love seat finally catching a moment of rest. Swaddled in my arms was an incomparably perfect 6-pound mixture of her father's dark black hair and my own button nose, her cavernous blue eyes shut in the deepest slumber. As I clung to her body, studying every curve of the stranger in my arms, I yearned for the love of my life to hold me the same way instead. I quietly dabbed my puffy eyes, took a sip of water, and dozed off until a crisp December sunrise beamed through the window. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross describes the first stage of grief as an insurmountable sense of denial. The actual reality is merely a notion in the vast realm of explanations for the ultimatum you are facing, and there is no possible way this could ever be happening to you. As human beings, we have a natural defense mechanism called fight or flight. We either deny what is happening to us altogether, or simply run from it out of disbelief instead. These first few hours of motherhood were filled with the most denial I have ever encountered. Nurses shuffled in and out of my recovery room like elegant schools of fish, flawlessly drifting between the many duties they were given to ensure my family's well-being. An hourly blood pressure check here, a random temperature check there. They were experts at remaining as perfectly invisible as they were reassuringly near. It was during this should-be euphoric time that I let the squeakiness of white shoes take my daughter to the hospital's nursery for the first time. They echoed as they exited the room, and a growing sense of melancholy arose within my gut. No amount of long-awaited black coffee or cold-cut grinders was enough to ease my thoughts of desperation. I wanted my daughter back inside of me, yet my tongue remained stagnant as cement in any attempt to bring words to the emotions I felt. Just days before, I was desperately begging to be sent into labor by any larger-than-life force who might be listening. Just a year before, Reed and I were effortlessly throwing back shots of Jameson and draft Bud Light at our local bar. I thought I was ready to become a mother, but I now understand nothing could prepare me for the denial that arrived with the snip of a cord. In a dimly lit room full of silence and distant hallway intercoms, I pictured becoming everything that someone else has in this world and nothing for myself any longer. Thank you.